So the decisions that we are making are based on pleasure and pain. So we all move to one of those two cycles. We break it down to its various forms. It's either pleasure or pain that we're working with. So when we make these decisions and we think that our conscious decisions, it is not. It is not. 5% of what we do is on a conscious level. And even that is dictated by our conscious mind. And it has to be that way. If we had to think about the beating of our heart or us breathing, we would all die. All right? So our body is made up, and the mechanisms in our brain is made up to run this thing on automatic pilot. The problem is the program that we have set leads us to where we are right now. There's been plenty of times where you've driven home and can't remember the route that you went home. There's been plenty of times that that's happened, whether it's driving or anything else. We don't remember it, but our subconscious knows exactly what to do. And our conscious brain, that 5% I was telling you about, is unaware of what's going on. Well, what the Miracle Morning does is it at least allows you to insert your conscious mind so that you are not reacting to anything, but you are directing everything. And in the beginning, it may just be an hour of your time, and even have a Miracle Morning for 6 minutes, where you do one of the 6 steps a minute at a time. I would take that over not doing it at all. However, about an hour of your time is what's needed. I don't check my mail. I don't check social media. I don't check any text in the morning at all. Because as soon as you check that text from that agent that is not very cooperative, it sends you in a direction you don't want to go in completely. And your whole day now is being dictated by that very thing in the morning. Well, let's set this up so that you start on a positive note in the direction that you want to go in and not being dictated by anybody else. The Miracle Morning is broken down in an acronym called SAVERS. All right, SAVERS. All right, so first you sit in silence, and for those of you that are not meditating, if you don't do anything else, I would recommend start a meditative practice. Meditation for me is equivalent to, or not meditating, is equivalent to you attempting to fix a car while you're still in it driving. There is no way that you can fix this broken vehicle and you're sitting inside the driver's seat and it's moving down the road. You got to stop the car. You got to get out so that you can observe what's going on to fix it. Well, without meditation, you're attempting to do just that. Fix a car that's moving. Meditation that allows you to slow your brain down, slow the thoughts down so that you can assess it. And instead of being in the car, it allows you to step outside so that you can observe what's going on as an observer, which is the ultimate position to be in once you get into a nice meditative state where you're an observer. You're just watching these things going by without emotion taking over and dictating anything. So that's that. So that first set is sitting in silence. That's the SAVERS part of it. The next one is affirmations. As I said before, most of this is dictated, and this is deep childhood. Our programming is set from the age of 0 to about 7 years old. 0 to 7. All right, so we make our moves. This is why there are a lot of people that find it difficult getting rich. We heard of all of the lottery winners going broke after getting the lottery. It's not that they want to get broke. It's just that their programming has designed them to lead them down that path. It's designed it. And that programming started from age 0 to age 7. So you've only been reinforcing those behaviors up until the age that we are now. All right, from 7 years old. Affirmation allows you to kind of tap into it a little bit and try to change that course of direction a little. All right. Again, you're competing against you going through this habit for however old you are. I'm not going to try to point out anybody until from the age 7. So that's what you're combating. So please understand, this is not an easy task, but it's a start to start that reprogramming and affirmation. There's programs on YouTube that you can go in. There's plenty of books on it. So what I say is find something that's easy to do now, do the research on it, and find what method is best for you. There is a monk, Dandapani. Anybody heard of him?
I think so.
Yeah. So he went to a monastery for 10 years in Hawaii and gave up all his worldly possessions. He now comes out and now he speaks to business people about finding your inner peace. All right. So that's what his goal is and everything else. He says in affirmations, you find one affirmation and repeat that affirmation 118 times, which is what those prayer beads are for, to do it. There are other people that find programs, and I do it that way. There's a 5-minute program, and it's affirmations.com that I found it, and I listen to that after I finish my meditation session, affirmations.com. So after the affirmation, then it's visualization. Now, visualization can take many forms. There's visualization for the day, a visualization for the next year, 5, 10 years. I don't care what that is, but it is the image that you want to try to portray for your future. The time hack that you use is entirely up to you. All right, whether you're going to do it just for today to figure it out, for the week, for the month, for the year. You figure out what that time is going to be for yourself. But it's something that you're controlling. In the back of our brains, next to the medulla oblongata is called, or within it, is called the reticular activating system. Our brain receives billions of pieces of information per second. Per second. We filter out maybe 2,000 to 3,000. Once again, you got a billion streams of everything going. So your brain is looking at colors and everything else, but the only thing that it's gravitating to are the things that are important to you that you've programmed. All right? So a football stadium, the lights go out completely, and then there's one person holding the spotlight. A huge stadium, and there's only one person holding the spotlight. Where that spotlight goes is up to that person. And that's what I'm telling you. This is how, all of a sudden, if you wanted a BMW, a certain series, as soon as you start thinking about it, these BMWs start popping up everywhere. It's not magic. They've always been out there. It's just that your reticular activating system wasn't programmed to pick it up. You dismissed everything else. Once again, billions of pieces of information cut down to 2,000 to 3,000 per second. So your RAS, that reticular activating system, is what you focus on, and that's what's important to you. So that visualization helps you to find the things that's important to you. I don't know if any of you know, but Stephen had a career in the music industry, 10 years. And we were sitting at a table, and there were people talking about music. I did not hear them. Physically did not hear them, but he was tuned in to what they were talking about. Again, it wasn't important to me. My brain said, nope, I got other things that I need to worry about. But now if someone sits at another table and talks about real estate, I'm all in. I am all in, because this is what's important to me, and this is what I've programmed myself to listen to. Visualization helps you hone that in so that you can find the things that's important to you for your goals in the future, which is why we got to set it out. All right. Next thing is exercise. The level of exercise is entirely up to you. From yoga, which I used to dismiss as nothing but fairies and things, until you do a good yoga session and you're dripping in sweat. All right. Until that happens, do not dismiss it. But Bajong, yoga, running, something to get your lungs expanded, to get oxygen into your system, to get your blood pumping. Whatever that is, that needs to be done, all right? Because that's what our brain feeds on, especially that burst of oxygen in the morning, whether you're doing aerobics or you're working out. That's what's needed, and that really picks us up a lot. I'm going to go over my typical schedule because it's a little off, and these things don't have to be done in order, by the way. This acronym is just designed so that you can remember it. The order that you choose to do this in is entirely up to you. As long as it's done, and as long as you do it before you allow the outside to dictate what's going on. Because as soon as we get here, we're in a reactive mode. Whether you think so or not, we're in a reactive mode. Now, we'll have our schedule planned out, but even within that schedule, we're reacting as opposed to putting it out purposefully for ourselves. All right. The next R is reading. Not next R, the only R is reading. Now, we talked about this morning. If it's an audiobook, it's an audiobook. If it is a YouTube video for information or knowledge, let it be that. If it's a book, 15, 20 minutes of sitting there reading that book, and it does not have to be self-improvement stuff. It can be a romance novel. It can be a mystery, but you set that time, again, to get your brain engaged into it. I just choose self-help books because that's what I like to read. That's what kind of pushes me. So that's the information that I look for. All right. That last S on there is scribing or putting down in a journal. I use a journal called the 5-Minute Journal. It's a $42 book, but it lasts for the entire year. So $42 over the course of the year is not that much money. And in that journal, the first things it asks you is, what are 3 things that you're grateful for? So what I found is that, let me give you this example. A teacher put on a multiplication table. Somebody was on Facebook just not too long ago. They put on from a multiplication table from 9 times 1 all the way down to 9 times 9. All right. The first example was the wrong answer. First example is the wrong answer. All the others were correct. The class focused on which one? The wrong answer. We do that too. We naturally, which is why our news is so popular right now. We only gravitate to those negative things. When I served in Iraq, we had reporters embedded within our unit. Okay, they were sitting there with us. We're playing cards with them, having a good time, eating with them. Everything is fine. For a couple of weeks, nothing's going on. As soon as an IED hits the convoy, then they step into action. Now, they didn't report that we are serving millions of gallons of fuel every day. We're delivering food. We're making connection with some of the local population. That's not being discussed. But as soon as that one IED hits, that's the first thing that they dig on. And now all of a sudden, that's how our life is overseas, because that's all you hear from overseas, when in fact it's quite the opposite. It's quite the opposite. So that gratitude journal, please include things that you're grateful for, because now just so that I don't have to sit there, and it's funny how it worked out. Instead of me sitting there in the morning trying to figure out what was nice, throughout the day now, I am looking for the good things so I can put in my journal. So I've started to train myself to look for those good things so that I can put in the journal. I told Monica this morning, I'm lazy. I'm naturally lazy. That means that I want to knock out the business first so I can go cool out later. That's where my level of laziness comes in at. But now I've switched that laziness now for my gratitude journal. Now I'm looking for good things throughout the day so I can make it easier for me to do my journal the next day. But the good thing is, is now I am getting this positive. I am looking for those positive things and staying on that and dismissing the negative things. I'm not training my mind towards that. So that helps. What I want to tell you all is try for 30 days. try it for 30 days. It's life-changing for me. Now, there are days when I won't do them all or a piece of it. I do meditate every day of my morning miracles. That I do every day. Obviously, that exercise piece slips me a few days, so I'm gonna get back to that real soon. But just having that every day, you will notice a massive change. The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod is where I got all of this from. Grab that book. And for a nice story, grab the one that's focusing towards real estate agents, because it takes you through the path of a guy who was with his wife who sells insurance, and how he went from getting overweight, feeling lethargic, business was going bad, his partnerships was dissolving, to a year later, how everything turned around because he implemented this Miracle Morning. So it's a great story to do it.
What's the name of the author?
Hal Elrod, E-L-R-O-D.
H-O-W-L? How do you spell how?
Hal, H-A-L.
Oh, Hal.
Yeah.
Hal. I thought you said how.
Yeah. Now, when you get up, all I am advocating, now this is all relative. All relative. I get up at 4:20 in the morning. All right. Now, I normally get some crooked faces like Danielle's when I say that. So it's relative. So whatever the time is that you normally get up, clock in, try to do an hour early. So if you get up at 8 o'clock, try getting up at 7. All right. And if that's difficult for you, go to bed an hour earlier. Because I found with my Miracle Mornings, it's easier if I start the night before. So I meal prep, I write down everything that I need to do for the next day. I get my clothes ready the night before, so it's easier for me to blow through this stuff the next day. All right. And I go to bed an hour earlier. That's all. Listen, for me, staying up means watching TV. That's what it means. Quite honestly, it's not like I'm sitting and I'm writing in my novel and trying to finish that up or writing a screenplay. No, that's not what I'm doing. I am watching some mind-numbing stuff for 3 to 4 hours a day, every day. I'm admitted, I'm a TV-holic, all right? And so what I did was I decided to kill an hour of TV just so that I can prepare for the next day and go to bed early. That's all. That way, waking up at the time I wake up, it's not that bad. It's all relative. It's where I shifted. I still get in 8 hours. I still get in 8 hours or 7 hours. I still get that in, but I just go to bed an hour earlier to get my time in, and I wake up at that time. So that's that. So I prepare the night before, get up at that 4:20, and what I do first is after my hygiene, I meditate for 10 minutes. I use an app called Calm, C-A-L-M. I pay for it because it allows me to do a lot more in that app, but I listen to it, and it's a guided meditation, and that first daily message that they give you, because they change it every day, it's 10 minutes long. Do that 10-minute app, 10-minute session. I go to the gym, knock out my exercise piece of it. I come back, I shower. That's about the time my wife is gone and leaving the house. Then I finish the rest of my savers. All right. I meditate again. And please understand, meditation is not the road to anything else. A good meditation session is its own reward.
And it usually takes about a month to get your mind shut down.
And I would say longer than that. Your mind is like a 2-year-old child. And don't try to sit there and sit in silence and all that. Wherever it goes, just let it go like a 2-year-old child. Just not, no, come back. Right here. No, I got it. No, come on back. And you're going to do that 50, 60 times in your session. Let it go. Don't discipline yourself in these sessions. Don't punish yourself. Well, you should be doing. No. Enjoy that moment, because over time, it will get to the point it's less. I've been meditating now every day for the last 7 months. For the last 7 months, every day I've been meditating. Some sessions is 5 minutes. Other sessions, I got a 30-minute session where I sit and just meditate for that time. I still have my mind wandering. It does it less because I've been working on it, practicing it. It does it less. And even those that are experienced at it will still say that, yeah, their mind wanders. That's what it does. That's what his job is. So don't punish yourself. It should be better. No, just let it do what it do. But the fact that you are working on reducing that or concentrating on whatever it is you want to concentrate on, and for me, it's breathing. So when I get to the point of breathing, and then if a thought pops in my head and I catch myself again, because now you want to be an observer, I catch myself and say, thinking, breathing. And that's what I say to myself. I don't punish myself. I just say thinking, got it. I observe it. I take that thought, let it float away, and then I go back to my breathing. And I try to stay on my breathing for as long as I can. And then when the session is over, I'll hear the guided meditation say, all right, wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, and open your eyes. And that's done. All right? So, everything works from an accountability partner. I'm not going to do any assigning of partners, but if you find somebody in the room that you want to do it with, please. I mean, you see the people that's in here now. Give each other. Let's look at today and let's come back in 30 days. The same group. Let's come back in 30 days and just talk about our experience with this thing. If you fall off, great. I got it. That's such is life. This is not a New Year's resolution. Not. This is a lifestyle change. This is a lifestyle change. Yes. Because I will tell you, after I've been doing this a while, when I back off of it, my whole day gets chaotic and I don't feel grounded at all. And then I remind myself, you hadn't been doing your miracle morning. Turn it back on, and all of a sudden I'm back in control again. It's a wonderful feeling. Any questions?
The book is a write-off too.